First, we had Emma and the Army and these woke commercials that came out. Now, people are claiming that essentially we're seeing the same thing over on the Marine Corps side, as this photo of a Full Metal Jacket type inspired photo for June has essentially caused a massive uproar. And this was posted on their Instagram. On this post, almost a week ago, it says, during the month of June, the Marine Corps takes pride in hashtag with rainbow colors and recognizing and honoring the contributions of our LGBTQ service members. We remain committed to fostering an environment free from discrimination and defend the values of treating all equally with dignity and respect. Hashtag Pride Month, hashtag USMC. Now, as you can see here, it says proud to serve, and it looks like these are 5.56 rounds, which have various colors of the rainbow, kind of insinuating the Pride Month. To be fair, I honestly thought these were crayons at first, and I just kind of swiped by, didn't even think about it, and then it kept getting posted. I was like, what's up with this photo? And I looked, and then I was like, oh, this is a different color from 5.6 round, where I think maybe the crayons would have been like a double post meaning. Just saying, I thought that would have been a better idea in general, but that's just my thoughts. However, the comments have literally pissed off almost what seems like to be the entire Marine Corps community, people that have been in, veterans, etc. The 18A Chronicle says, babe, the Marines just did their pride post. Let's go to the comments section. Emma Lang 99 writes, all the Marines who got separated just did 11 years ago for talking about their sexuality. Reading this right now, I'd be like, And I thought that the don't ask, don't tell policy was relevant to mention, because I feel like it's almost like people forget this was in our generation. When I was in the military, I joined when that was a thing, when that was seriously talked about in training and all these other things where it was just accepted. Now, did people actually talk about their sexual life and all that stuff no matter what? Yes, and I'll tell you, most people didn't care from my personal experience. Now, what happened was that this was the official policy for the military for people that were of various identifying sexual orientations instituted during the Clinton administration. The policy was issued under the DOD during December 21st, 1993, and this was in effect from February 28th, 1994 up until September 20th, 2011. And I want you guys to think for just a minute, like how quick that has changed. 11 years we are asking for people to grasp and fully support and embrace this, where, as much as I want to say like diversity is great, we can see things where it's, done wonders, not ignore the fact that that also took several decades or generations as well. On top of that, I love how they included the T when I'm like, we don't have the trans community even part of the military. So to say that you support or embrace them is kind of like a half-hearted attempt to go with this. But if you guys do not remember, this was actually a big issue during the Trump administration only a few years ago, where this decision was appealed. Now, according to some statistics, I'd have to say this is also interesting because the fact that it looks to be from these stats that the Marine Corps has the highest per capita, meaning like the per how many people are there, and they are a small branch, they have the highest community of people that do identify as bisexual, etc. This is kind of interesting, this dichotomy of this smaller group of people. And this also was kind of annotated on a post which is gaining a lot of traction over on Reddit that kind of shows the two sides of this coming to a head on a more interpersonal relationship issue and kind of at the lower level. This person is choleric and says, diversity strengthens our core. I debated whether to post this on our USMC after seeing the bigotry from other Marines. I decided to post it to counteract the bigotry. I'm a 26-year active duty combat Marine with a star on my combat action ribbon. I rose up through the ranks from PFC to staff sergeant with some radio reconnaissance time before getting commissioned not long after 9/11. I spent a bit of my time in Bosnia getting shot at before that as well. I fought in Najaf and later in Kabul, by all accounts a successful career. I wasn't Dan Daly or Chesty Puller, but I was a good Marine, and I think I left the Corps a better place than when I entered, thanks to good leaders such as Sergeant Nurse and Staff Sergeant Anderson, my SDI, and my Heavy 2 Sergeant Major James Winders, a good friend, great leader, and my AMOI to Lieutenant Colonel Sasha Kulau, a friend and peer who taught me a lot about women Marines, along with many, many others. I served my Corps and my country proudly. Now I see bigots tearing our Corps apart. Bigots like Lieutenant Colonel Stuart Scheller, who, while he has some good points about failed leadership, also is a clear bigot based on his most recent post. Fortunately, we have strong leaders counteracting this, like Master Sergeant Gunn Scott Stalker and Chief Warrant Officer Bobby Yarborough, who is tearing up social media. Diversity strengthens our Corps, as strongly evidenced by the inclusion of Black Marines, women Marines, vital to the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, especially as members of FETs, but also overall. Bigotry weakens our Corps and promotes infighting. This is not what we do, and most certainly embodies neither honor, courage, nor commitment. Why am I posting this today? At the start of Pride Month, I'm a transgender woman sitting in the hospital recovering from gender confirmation surgery. Hopefully I can serve as a role model for other LGBTQIA plus Marines. And as for the bigots, get out, we don't want you, hashtag leadership, and all of these other hashtags. Clash of, the Marine Corps posting this and kind of the reaction to it. You're also seeing people kind of coming out of the woodwork that have some notoriety or credibility, as we see with this Marine with a combat-oriented career. But also we have some people coming back at him and saying this: I will agree to your assertion that diversity strengthens our Corps when women are subjected to the same physical fitness standards as men. In the meantime, our inclusion of women, which I strongly support to be clear, is an obvious trade-off in strength in favor of increased brain power. Not that women as per se smarter than men, but when you draw from twice the pool, you're going to get twice the number of geniuses. We can skip the political pablum and just have an honest conversation about the benefits and drawbacks of universal diversity. You may not realize it, but even you don't support full diversity. There's clear reasons why physically disabled people aren't allowed in the Corps, for example. We all want maximum inclusion, but realize that discrimination is necessary to have a functioning Corps. The question is always, where does inclusion stop and discrimination begin? All that to say is, it's a bit silly to simply fire off the motto, diversity strengthens our Corps, when we all know, one, we actively discriminate, and two, we've already agreed to make the Corps weaker by including women because the added brain power is worth the decline in physical strength. My reflection on this interaction that you're seeing here is essentially this 26-year-old combat Marine veteran that is out here that's saying he did all these great things. The fact that he wanted to be this or identify as that, or he wanted to be with this person or that person, had no bearing or effect on the job. Just do the job. I think that's what's important, and that's what most people are trying to get at. And it's interesting because people have actually expanded on this idea by saying this. Bitch Master Flex says, diversity for diversity's sake doesn't strengthen anything. Black Marines didn't make the Corps stronger, nor did allowing women to join our ranks. Good Marines make the Corps stronger, not their color of their gender or their identity or religion or who or what they want to have a consensual sex with. But there are two things that make the Corps weaker. One, when we all start to exclude each other because of other people don't have the right labels, or two, we start to put other labels before the title of Marine. If you're one of those people, your drill instructors failed you. Hey, that's a little heavy. And I think that there is this notion or this idea that essentially the Marine, that when you join the military or when you become a part of this brotherhood or whatever, that this is more important, the collective group overall is better than the individual thing. And that's where these ideas really clash. And I have to be a little bit critical where, we're looking at how many years have you had Nike and Target and all these other people having rainbow flags up every June. And a lot of people, even in these communities, are being cynical of them using this flag every year because they're like, are you really about this, or are you about it because it's the most trendy thing to do? And now it's cool to do it when all this effort and all this fight has already been done to try and make this type of progress. But I'm like, so now you're mad that you made the progress? It kind of doesn't make sense. But I do understand that a lot of people feel like these corporations have kind of hijacked this as a sympathy play card, essentially, and not as a true intention or support for these communities. It does seem like that way with the Marine Corps as well, because it's like 11 years ago, you wouldn't even allow anybody to come in, but now you're saying let's have everybody come together and sing Kumbaya. It does seem a little bit two-faced or a little bit too late to say that they would die on this side of the hill. So this leads the question to you guys. Do you think that the military has gone woke still and this is just kind of going that way? Do you think that this is something that is important to include and it's just a photo of that's just what it is, and we already have people that are serving in their capacity doing this day in, day out, and it doesn't matter? Let me know down in the comments below, because I think that this discussion needs to continue to grow and get better. Just think about that. If you have questions or topics for other videos, hit me up on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, TikTok, or down in the comments below. I love you guys. I'll see you next time.